Before you give up on her, stop. Most men quit too soon. They walk away confused, angry, broken. But what if I told you this is not your ending, it's your advantage? She's pulling away, acting cold, ignoring your texts, and your mind is screaming, it's over. But that voice, it's lying. This isn't the end, it's the test. And most men fail it, not because she changed, but because they couldn't hold their frame. Don't react, don't beg, don't chase. Instead, watch this first. Because if you learn this, you'll be the man she can't replace. Part 1. Why she's pulling away. Attraction doesn't fade because of time. It fades because of energy. When you first met, there was polarity. She felt the pull, not because you tried hard, but because you stood still in your center. You had purpose. You had mystery. You were unpredictable. Not because you played games, but because you were living your life on your terms. Then something changed. You opened up too fast. You started over-explaining, over-texting, over-committing. You started giving her what she hadn't even earned yet. And just like that, the polarity collapsed. You became routine, you became available, and she stopped feeling what she used to feel. Women aren't just emotional creatures, they're energetic detectors. They can sense when you've stopped leading your life and started orbiting theirs. And when that shift happens, they pull away. Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. Because deep down, she doesn't want to lead the dance. She wants to feel the presence of a man who doesn't flinch when she spins. When she starts getting distant, most men react with fear. But a Stoic man doesn't react. He reflects. He doesn't ask, how do I win her back? He asks, where did I lose myself? Part 2. The silent test you didn't know you're failing. Her silence isn't always planned. Sometimes it's subconscious. But make no mistake, it's a test. One she doesn't even realize she's giving you, and you don't even realize you're taking. But the results, they're loud. She stops responding for a day. You double text, she acts cold, you overcompensate with affection, she cancels plans, you rearrange your whole life just to get another shot. Every time you chase, every time you fill the space she creates, you fail the test. Not because you weren't kind, but because you showed her that your emotional stability depends on her attention. And that's exactly what kills attraction. A Stoic doesn't move when the wind shifts. He doesn't chase the storm. He holds position, calm, deliberate, unmoved. And that's when something strange happens. Her silence turns into curiosity. Her distance starts to feel uncomfortable. Because the man she thought she could control isn't responding the way she expected. You see, when a woman pulls away, what she's really asking is, are you strong enough to stay grounded when I withdraw love? Most men beg for affection. The Stoic offers nothing but silence and lets her discover the answer herself. Part 3. Why silence is louder than words. Words are tools, but silence is a weapon when wielded with intent. When she expects you to react and you don't, something breaks inside her script. She prepared for a meltdown, for a desperate message, for a last-ditch explanation, but you didn't give her any of it. You gave her nothing. And in that nothingness, she finds a mirror. A space to reflect on her own actions, her own attitude, her own entitlement. Because now she's not just dealing with your absence, she's dealing with your lack of reaction. Most men think silence is weak. But Stoics know its power. Silence doesn't come from indifference. It comes from discipline. It's not that you don't care. It's that you care about yourself enough not to lose your dignity over someone else's mood swings. Stillness doesn't make you boring. It makes you mysterious. It makes you unreadable. And unreadable men are irresistible. Because they force others to lean in and try to understand them. She expected a tantrum. She got stillness. She expected a reaction. She got presence. And that is when silence starts speaking louder than any message you could ever send. Before we continue, if this message has already made you pause, if it's reminded you of something you forgot in yourself, then consider this. Hit that subscribe button, not for the algorithm, but for you. Because when you support this channel, you help us bring more of this clarity, more of this strength, and more of this unshakable mindset to men who need it. Thank you for being here. Part 4. What to do instead of chasing. When she starts to distance herself, don't panic. Mirror her energy with calm detachment. This isn't about revenge or resentment. It's about maintaining your masculine frame. Most men make the mistake of thinking they need to prove themselves when she withdraws. They write paragraphs, send gifts, beg for clarity, but every one of those actions says the same thing. My value is based on your attention. Let her feel the void. Let her experience what life is like without your presence, your attention, your emotional support. That contrast is more powerful than anything you could say. Because now she's faced with two versions of you. The man she took for granted when he gave without limit, and the man who now gives nothing she hasn't earned. When she sends a casual "hey," don't reward it like it's gold. When she starts liking your story again, don't assume it's love. These are emotional breadcrumbs. She's checking if she still has your energy on tap. But energy is sacred, and sacred things are never handed out for free. The Stoic man doesn't punish her with silence. He simply stops over-investing in someone who hasn't demonstrated equal commitment. Because attention is currency, and if you give it out cheaply, it gets treated like trash. In love, the law is simple. What is earned is valued. What is given too easily is dismissed. Your strength lies in your ability to wait without wanting, to observe without reacting, and to walk without pleading. That's not indifference. That's self-respect. Part 5. If she never comes back, let her go. Here's a truth most men avoid like fire. She might not come back, and that might be the best thing that ever happened to you. Because if her presence in your life was based on your emotional effort alone, then she was never truly with you. She was orbiting your attention, not connected to your essence. Let that sink in. The woman who disappears when the attention dries up was never yours. She was addicted to the comfort, not committed to the connection. So when she walks away and stays away, don't see it as rejection. See it as redirection. The universe is clearing space, because the woman who's truly aligned with you doesn't vanish at the first sign of silence. She doesn't test your worth with absence. She recognizes your value through your stillness. As Epictetus said, he who is not content with what he has will not be content with what he wants. That includes people. That includes love. Your peace is not a bargaining chip. Your silence is not bait. It's a boundary. And if she can't meet you at the level of that boundary, then she's not your partner. She's your lesson. And once the lesson is learned, let her go. Without anger, without revenge. Just let her dissolve into your past, like smoke leaving a fire that no longer burns. Part 6. The moment she feels the shift. In the beginning, she doesn't notice. She thinks you'll come back, that it's just another silence. She assumes your stillness is temporary, that it's performative. But then something strange happens. You stay silent. No late-night texts, no accidental likes, no small talk, no reaction to her stories, just stillness. Presence without noise. And now the dynamic flips. She starts checking her phone more often. She opens your chat thread, hoping to see something, anything. But there's nothing. Days pass, then weeks. And that's when a new feeling sets in. Not boredom, not indifference, but uncertainty. Did I lose him? Is he actually gone? Was he stronger than I thought? And uncertainty is the birthplace of reflection. She starts remembering the times you were there, the way you supported her, the way you showed up, even when she didn't ask you to. She starts replaying your silence like a melody she didn't realize had stopped. But now it's not just about you, it's about her. She starts asking herself hard questions. Did I take him for granted? Was I too cold? Was I testing him or pushing him away? This is when she begins to feel your absence, not as space, but as weight. A weight that sits in her chest when she scrolls past your name and wonders if she'll ever see it light up again. That's when she realizes, I may have lost the man who would have given me everything, because I thought he'd never leave. And now, You're not the one chasing her. You're the one she's chasing in her own mind, and that's the moment everything changes. Part 7. When she reaches out, don't break the frame. This is the moment where 90% of men fall apart. She reaches out, one simple hey or a heart emoji on your story, and suddenly it feels like all the tension is over. The silence is broken. The ego whispers, she missed you, you've won. And so they rush in. They reply too fast, too emotionally, too available. And just like that, they undo all the power they built in silence. But not you. You're not here for breadcrumbs. You're not available at the snap of her fingers. You're not some nostalgic option she can casually revisit. You're a man with standards. And standards demand action, not just attention. So when she reaches out, stay grounded. Read her message with calm neutrality. Don't smile like a boy who just got picked. Respond if you want, but do it slowly, intentionally. Not to get her back, but to observe who she is now. Has she changed? Is she still playing the same emotional games? Or is she truly stepping back in with vulnerability and respect? Because curiosity and commitment are not the same. Curiosity says, I wonder if I still have him. Commitment says, I'm ready to show up differently. Let her work for your time. Let her feel the space she abandoned. Let her experience the difference between the man she used to know and the man you've become. Because when you hold your frame, you no longer trade self-respect for attention. You trade attention for truth. And in that exchange, you don't just get her eyes, you earn her respect. And if she's not willing to meet you at that level, let her fade back into the silence she once created. Part 8. The final shift. You never needed her. You needed you. Here's the part that most men never reach, because they're too busy chasing external closure to realize the truth. You were never trying to get her back. You were trying to get you back. At first, you thought she was the prize, her validation, her attention, her love. But now, through silence, discipline, and distance, you've seen something deeper. You were always the one worth fighting for. The man you became during the silence. The one who stopped explaining, stopped chasing, stopped reacting. That man is the real win. You returned to your values. You reconnected with your mission. You got back to the gym. You built your body, your mindset, your business, your spiritual stillness. You stopped orbiting someone else's approval and started orbiting your purpose. And here's what happens when you do that. She starts seeing you differently. Not as the man who waited, not as the man who cracked, but as the man who rose above the noise. Whether she comes back or not is irrelevant now, because the version of you that needed her validation is gone, and in his place stands a man who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't flinch. You don't get your power by being desired. You get it by becoming undeniable. Let her come back or not. Let her apologize or not. None of that controls your direction anymore. Because now, you've stopped looking outward for peace, and you've started building it from within. Don't chase, don't beg, don't explain, just become. If this video hit you in the chest, good. That means the message wasn't just heard, it was felt. Because sometimes you don't need another explanation. You don't need her to text back. You don't need closure from her. What you need is clarity from yourself. Clarity that says, I don't chase love. I become the kind of man love doesn't walk away from. Clarity that says, if she could leave, then maybe she was never meant to stay. And above all, clarity that says, if losing her brought me back to me, then it wasn't a loss, it was a return. She was never your destination. She was the lesson, the mirror, the test. And now you've passed it, not by winning her back, but by reclaiming your frame, your fire, and your focus. So take this moment, breathe into it. You are no longer the man who waits. You are the man who walks forward, calm, focused, and unshakable. If this message spoke to something inside you, do one thing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Let the world know. You're done chasing, you've started rising, and if you're ready to take the next step on your Stoic journey, watch the next video on your screen. Because this transformation, it's only the beginning. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Stoic Spirit.